Dead clown laughing. Dead clown laughing, floating down a dirty river. Trendy cafes to his left and condos to his right line the riverbanks. Thousands of people on a Saturday night milling about. Good times. Screams, shouts. Dead clown floating down a river, a dirty river. All his life he entertained, he played the game. They squeezed his nose. They stepped on his elephant toes. Night after night after night. The dead clown entertained. And he wept one giant tear when his heart failed. You see, he was taught as a boy, if you trusted in God with all your soul, he would give you your heart's desire. And that's just for starters. Dead clown floating down a dirty river. The revelers could not understand, nor would they want to understand. But the clown was laughing. The clown was laughing all along in a deep-throated laughing like the Joker in Batman. And he was saying, the joke is on you, motherfuckers. You foolish, introspective few, you foolish ones who understand God. You want to make God laugh. Tell him your plans. You want to make God laugh. Tell him your plans. Tell him your dreams. Tell him your desires. I was in the crowd, Guinness in my hand, and I heard this strange noise. I didn't understand. There were others who were walking on the river's edge, mostly older, gray-haired, and they seemed to see something as they stopped and stared. Some pushed themselves to the edge, swearing that many people prevented them from going further. I dove instantly into the fucking water. Wallets, shoes. There was a higher calling. People thought me a drunken, insane fool. But it happened a lot. It happened a lot from the riverbank, but I didn't care about family and friends and opinions. I heard him clearly speaking. I heard him clearly speaking. I always wanted that cabin. I always wanted that cabin on the lake where we used to go fishing. He spent his life dreaming about many things. His parents were clowns in the circus. Life from the beginning was a fucking joke. He felt totally left down. His desires great. He wanted to be a sportsman. And the Holy Spirit entered his being. And he wanted to be a sportsman 100 times stronger than it had ever been. His girlfriend scoffed with derision when he told her he was a 10-sport athlete before being permanently injured, and that he'd been living in a sort of purgatory. But he didn't want her pity. but her guffaw with laughter. There's a part of him that hated. There's a part of that hated her after that. He named the sports: speed skating, skateboarding, basketball, hockey, lacrosse, soccer, skiing. But he saw her mocking the very core of his being. So I stopped, decided not to dignify her mocking cry and laughter and derision. Mocking is the domain of the dark side. Baseball, lacrosse, soccer, cycling, running. Either I was a fucking little cunt. Either I was a fucking little cunt, or she was the river that I chose. And the river was cold. Security was called and I was soaking wet. They stared at me. They stared at me as if I was a canceled bet. And I simply said, this clown was brought from purgatory to warn us all. To warn us all who have ears. It so quickly disappears. Death is always near. 47-year-old heart attack. 27-year-old hit from the back in a crosswalk. 51-year-old paralyzed in ice climbing. He can barely talk, but he hears it all. He hears it all, failed desires and holds them dear. I started mouth to mouth in CPR. But the dead clown said, hold on, I'm from the other side. My message to you is beautiful. It's worth all the things that life has put you through. And yes, all of your desires will come true. The lessons you learn, the wisdoms that was taught. Never give up. Never give up. The hope that was taught.